Good morning. I hope you're going really well. It's a beautiful Wednesday here. You can just see the sun coming up behind my shoulder. I didn't realise it was there until we just jumped on. Anyway, this morning as I was walking, I was listening to a book called Alchemy, and it's a little bit different to what we know as alchemy. It's come from a guy who has an advertising background, but he has some really interesting takes on human psychology, and it sort of became obvious to me to have a chat about why we do the things that we do, because often the things that we do actually, or don't do, don't line up with what we truly want. And there's just this little tiny line in the whole book that I got today. It doesn't mean the whole book's crap because I haven't listened to it, but the book's actually really good. But this particular line stood out to me, and it was really about why we do what we do. And advertising people have obviously been studying human psychology for a really long time. And the line, I will not paraphrase it correctly, but it was something along the lines of, people don't think what they feel, they don't say what they think, and they don't do what they say, which is very, very true. I mean, we all fall into that trap. And then we get concerned about, things like, well, why don't I follow through on the things I say I'm going to do? Or, that thing felt really good and I still didn't follow through on it, or whatever. And there must be something wrong with me. But, one of the things that became evident in what he was saying was that one of the reasons we don't do what we say we're going to do, or what we thought we were going to do, is basically because in biological terms, it doesn't really serve us. So one of the examples he used was, if we were going to, and I guess this is a male example, if we were going to take someone a bunch of flowers and the motive was actually to, try and sleep with the person, and you said, hey, here's a bunch of flowers and I'm hoping to get into bed with you. That would be a really weird way of trying to go about things. We wouldn't really see that as acceptable. Hey, Holly, good to see you. But anyway, so it's true though. A lot of things that we do, and especially when it involves somebody else, we don't really say what is the true motive behind it. And it's really interesting because we get tangled up in all manner of trying to communicate with people in order to affect some outcome. And we're not really asking for what we truly want, because we assume that they don't want what we want. I mean, maybe in that particular example that she does want to actually sleep with him, and it'd be quite refreshing to have someone say, hey, listen, just don't worry about the flowers, let's just talk about what it is we really want to explore together. But anyway, it's not how we are in this world. And it's interesting though, we also hide the truth from ourselves, and we do that really regularly. And we see that when we start to explore our thoughts and we explore what's our driving forces when we do things like a conflict deconstruction, or some of the other processes and tools that we use in our work. And we start to say, why am I feeling this way? I'm feeling this way because I'm backing it up with all these thoughts, all these thoughts that I'm using to bring in and justify the feeling that I'm feeling. And then from there, it sort of unfolds into a whole story which backs up everything that we've known from our past, because we're just basically referring to the past, we're referring to our limiting beliefs, we're referring to our unconscious voids and values, and our stories and projections that we've seen of others. And so it's a really fascinating way to be in the world. And when we start to examine and see that actually there is a whole other option to how we can be in the world and how we can be in relation to others, life becomes very freeing, because we're starting to deconstruct all the unconscious thinkings that are going on underneath. So what's really fascinating to me about what this guy was talking about was that we're doing that to ensure that we get a feeling at the other end that's different to the feeling that we currently have. We only do anything because we're trying to shift our state in one way, shape or form. And it's sometimes advantageous biologically to not know why it is that we're doing it and what our next move is going to be. So I'm sure we've all had that feeling of, I don't know why I'm saying what I'm saying right now, or I don't know why I'm eating the chocolate bar right now, but simply it's just trying to be satisfying, resolving some manner of tension between an unpreferred feeling and a preferred feeling. And we're just trying to take ourselves to shift a state. Everyone's trying to do that. Whatever is going on in the world, whatever someone is saying or how they're behaving in front of you, they're at that moment, most likely if they're unconscious, they're just trying to shift their state from an unpreferred or a less preferred feeling to a more preferred feeling. And and then we're trying to make meaning of that, whether that's eliciting a good response to us or a not so good response. We try and cling to our own positive feelings, the things that we really enjoy. Or if it's not feeling so good, we're trying to shift our state. So we start, maybe trying to convince or manipulate or act in different ways. And it's just a fascinating game that we're constantly playing with ourselves, and it has nothing to do with absolutely going for what we love. And that's what the aim of the game is. It's for us to be having our focus on what is it that's true for us, and then following and unfolding those points and making sure that we're actually standing up for ourselves and our heart and making moves in that right direction. So I just thought I'd leave you with that today. So just have a bit of a think about how you're feeling, what you're saying, and then what you're doing, because the strongest message that your subconscious ever gets and then acts in accordance with bringing everything together for you is in what you do, which is at the end of the chain. So I'd love to hear how you go. Speak to you soon. Bye.